Got married?
Yeah.
You were married?
I was married. I was a married woman.
What?
Yeah.
How long were y'all married?
Not long, probably 2 years.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
such a great guy, amazing guy, but we just didn't want the same things in life.
Okay.
He was okay with just love and, going to church and having a family, going to work and raising kids. And I was like, I want more.
Way more. Yeah, I get that.
And I shouldn't feel bad for wanting more.
How many times have we heard this? How many times have we seen this? Wanting more, always looking for something, greener pastures. The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, as they say. But it's things like this that make men a little apprehensive. He's going into it. He doesn't think anything's wrong. He thinks he wants to spend the rest of his life with you. And then this.
More.
Did you feel like you knew y'all weren't on the same page before you walked down the aisle? So why'd you do it? What was the reason?
It's a lot of pressure.
Okay.
When a man proposes to a woman, that's a lot. And in front of people.
I didn't want to let my community down. They thought this was beautiful.
Look, I gotta say yes. After that situation, I'm gonna tell you what you don't want to hear, because someone should have told me.
Oh.
And I'm not gonna put that responsibility on them. But if someone would have been like, "Hey, girl, you're not even happy right now."
He was happy.
Yeah.
Man.
And that makes it harder.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you have someone that loves you. But at the end of the day, love is not enough.
It's not enough.
It's not enough, because love is a choice. Are you going to wake up and do the work?
Every day.
Yeah.
So this is a guest on B. Simone's platform. B. Simone, the internet comedian. We've seen her in multiple different situations. She's out here, I guess, trying to make a way for herself. But see, this really struck me, because how many men have been in this situation? When you talk about how high the divorce rates are in the United States, this is a lot of the reason that there are so many divorces. Because she willingly, she walked out into the street and saw a car coming and continued to walk as if there was no car coming. She saw that this man was in love with her, but she was not in love with him. He got down on one knee and proposed to her. Was a good man. We're not hearing any negative reports here about what he did, because there's a lot of times people like to twist the narrative and say, oh, he must have done something, because she's not just going to up and leave him. A change of thought in 2 years put her into a position where she felt like she needed to leave the relationship forever. This is insanity, right? You would think people would make more rational decisions about something as long-term as a marriage. People are married for 30, 40, 50 years. They have successful relationships. They're there for each other through thick and thin, through sickness and health. All of those vows that they said. She went through that whole process. But it just proves a theory that a lot of people have here online, and they're always shouted down. A lot of women are getting married for the experience of getting married, to say they did it. Basically, to have a party. If you wanted to have a party, you could have done that. You could have went all out. You could have shipped your whole family in. If you wanted a family reunion, you could have done that. The trips, the honeymoon, you could have done that. But for some reason, she got up on this podcast and said it.
Going to work and raising kids, and I was like, I want more.
Way more.
And it was all about this. She wanted more. I'm pretty sure she got kids out of the situation. I think she mentioned kids. The whole situation with the kids, she couldn't even stay for that, because she wanted more. And what that comes down to is selfishness. Selfishness. That's all I'm hearing out here in the dating market. When people come with these requirements for money and how much somebody's got to make before they date you, or you can't go on a coffee date because a coffee date doesn't take any effort. This is all selfish. This is about you. This is about making you feel better or whatever. So if you are in that, please steer clear of other people. There's people that are now, saying, yeah, they want to stay by themselves, and that's their decision. For the rest of us who are actually looking to have a traditional relationship at some point, Like, stay out the way. And like, why is this thought popular? Why is there not people that have these successful relationships that can guide these ladies into something more selfless and not as selfish? Because I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people, and this is the problem I have with a lot of dating experts and relationship experts and podcasts where they get up there and tell you what you want to hear, they don't have successful relationships themselves. A lot of times they don't. A lot of them are, in open relationships. And, I saw I saw a woman on a dating app. It was funny because she was one of the cuter ones on there. But when I read her requirements, how she didn't want any vanilla men to approach their relationship, that you got to be cool with her husband being in there. I'm like, so you're married to a man that's bisexual, right? These are the things that they're not talking about that's going on in these relationships. These women out here are freaking, the dudes are freaking too. And it's like, what happened to the tradition? What happened to regular? I think y'all are getting too advanced on yourself. And y'all are out here trying to be polyamorous, and y'all are out here trying to be swingers and everything else. What part of the relationship is that? And, this chick here, she's the exact opposite. She's bored. So she's going to run out on the streets. So now she's most likely, she's got kids. She's a single mother. She's out here raising the kids. She's snapping off at the dude when he finds a successful relationship. Most of the time when the guy gets rid of that, either he's too traumatized to ever try again, or he finds exactly what he was looking for and he settles down. But we got to do better, because this type of thing, this is just so much fluff. And like, to come on a podcast and basically celebrate this is just, it's asinine. It's ridiculous, man. On B. Simone's podcast, but I saw this clip and I just thought it was interesting. Let's take a look at some of these comments. More than a career, kids, God, and a loving husband, I understand not feeling fulfilled, but what exactly is more? That's a question I would ask too. What exactly is more? And is she getting it now that she's left her relationship? Some of these podcast information goes completely against the word and will of God. Yes. And these are the same people that will tell you up and down that they are Christian, that they are religious, that they are in the church every Sunday. And this is how they move him. So he was holding her back, or was he not the image of the imaginary man she made up in her head to fit the fantasy of her future? That's what it really is right there. She settled and agreed to get married, but really this is not the guy that she ever wanted. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. B. Simone, why are you signing off on this? These are the values you hold. That man has to now relive this BS because of a corny ex. Yes, this is a corny move. Like, why is she on this podcast disclosing this type of information? Everybody that knows the both of them now is going to know the situation and why they broke up. I'm pretty sure they're aware at this point. It was only 2 years, but man, this is a dude in the comments. I've been with my wife for 20 years. We were broke together and now we're successful together. What is she talking about? She wants more. There is no more, right? What it really boils down to is that she wanted to be chasing waterfalls. She wanted to be out there doing something else that she thought was bigger than the relationship she had. And what is she out there in now? She's in the streets. She's in the streets. So you're going to realize it ain't so sweet out here. And I probably should have done right by my husband, and that's what I'm saying. Like, people wonder why things happen to them. And it's like, you've put bad energy into the world. You've done things to hurt people, and you don't think you should get any repercussions for that. That's a shame. That's a shame. The funny thing was, I heard somebody there was a guy talking about a prenup. He actually was on a reality show talking to this girl about a prenup situation. And her response was absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if I can play it because it was a Bravo show, but basically what he said is, I'd like to get a prenup. And she says, well, I don't feel like what did she say? She said, I don't feel like talking about divorce in the beginning is a positive thing. And I've just seen so many stories of women being left high and dry after a divorce. And I'm like, it seems like a prenup would protect you from any of that, because you would be agreeing to the terms up front, to this business transaction, you know? I mean, I'm not naive enough to believe this isn't anything other than a business transaction. So why are people expecting men to not get prenups, or is some type of an offense to ask a woman for something as simple as a prenup? I mean, a lot of women, like they say, they balling out. They're in a better position than the men they're dealing with. So a prenup could protect you as well. So I don't know. It's just a strange place we're in now. But I want to know what you think about it in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that hype button. This is a new feature YouTube is doing where they're actually allowing creators to have their supporters support them by pressing the hype button. It's free. It allows this video to get more reach, get out to a wider audience. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how long it's going to be, but make sure you hit that hype button for Fawcett Media. Give us some hype points so we can go viral or whatever happens. Does Mr. Beast get a hype button? I don't think he needs any more hype, right? He's getting all the views in the world, but you can still hype his videos? That's unfair. Well, anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. This is Fawcett Media.